We've started, so all your views must seek to influence us so that when we discuss, so I don't want you to be afraid and to feel like, ish, I know, tell us, what do you think? So that it's up to us when we discuss to then take and say, this is what.
What am I mean?
I was proposing that since we are amending the law regarding mining,
Re lebelele le the small scale mining. Basically, re na le motlaba o montši wa bo rena o nokeng.
we
So-
should also consider black scale mining because there is a lot of land
Motlaba ko nokeng.
which is at the river.
So, and then over the hore, a se tlo mine re nne le di license. Ye nngwe gape ke ne ke lebeletse ke ya di filling station.
Okay, so having to do mining there at the river, we need to have licenses.
Yeah. Le o issue out the licenses at the filling stations.
And also the issuing out of filling stations
Basically go the rural area.
in
So
the
le-
rural
le-
areas.
Ka mokgwa o molao o leng ka teng, ha o re kore wa re kgaolo wa re hatelela gore re ka kry-a di licenses tsa di filling station.
So the law is basically suppressing us in order to can access licenses for filling stations.
Because ha o ya hantsi ba o botsa gore plek ya lena ke environment ya agriculture o ra gore wena o ka se qualify what so do tsa tshwana le tsenitseng.
Because when you go there, in order maybe to get those licenses, they will tell you that the place where you reside is for agriculture. So it would not be possible for you to can be given that license.
So ne ke kgopela gore ke nagana gore le o kaonafatse molao o mo rena ba ile gore re nyaka go dira di filling station. Ke a
So
leboha.
I was asking that you amend that law so that it can enable us to can also be able to can open businesses that have to do with filling stations.
Can we try to, so that to assist? I don't want to say your voice is too soft, but I think there is a problem. It's either you increase the volume on the mic, on that mic, because even us here, we find it very difficult to hear. I can imagine someone who is almost at the back there. Is there any other hands? Good people, like I said, we are coming for the proposed amendments to the Gas Act of 2001. Can we stick to that? Because my worry is when you come and say something that it is not relevant to what we are about today. We are supposed to record when we discuss the amendments to the Gas Act. If there is a problem that you have, let me say this in advance, on any other thing, whether it's mining, whether it's licenses for filling station or whatever, you have a right, and I must say this, you right, if it's about the departments or any other thing, right to Miss A, this is the email, aboss@parliament.gov.za or akotze, KOTZE, @parliament.gov.za.
Jwale ka re šetše go boletše gore mo re tletše phetošo goba tšhišinyo ya phetošo mo godimo ga molao o o berekago ka di gas.
Let's stick
Jwale
to,
a re boleleng ka phetogo tšhišinyo yeo re tletšego mo. Ge o le gore mohlomongwe o na le diputšo tše e leng gore di mabapi go fa mohlala taba tša di-filling station. Seo o ka se dirang ke gore o ka ngwala email wa ngwala Miss A boss at government
at parliament.gov.za.
at parliament.gov.za or
And
Miss
A Kotse at parliament.gov.za. You are doing this so that you don't raise issues here and then when we discuss, we say, no, people don't have a problem with the amendments on the gas. They've got other problems that they've raised, which may take time to process. But if you write, let's try and stick to the Gas Act and all other issues that may not be relevant to the amendment to the Gas Act of 2001. I'm giving you that email, correspond, and then it will be we'll take it from there.
gomme ge re dira se bakeng sa gore ge re tloga mo re se ke ra tlo gore awa badudi ba mo ga bana bothata ka ditaba tše tša kgase bona ba na le bothata ka dilo tše dingwe ke ka go re nyakang gore le boleleng ka ditaba tše re di tletšego mo gomme ge le na le mathata a mangwe le ngwala email la romela mo di-emailing tšeo le fetšang go di fiwa.
I saw there was a hand, number one, there's number two.
O tla
This
ba-
is, come forward, number one, then there's number two. Any other hand?
a ka ba go na le matsogo a mang ka ntle le ba babedi ba.
Any other hand? Yes, yes. Any other hand?
Ba bangwe gape
Naku Mama, yes. I like it now. Oh, Mama, they are doing their own. Come on,
re
come,
thaba ge
come.
bomme le bona
Yes,
ba etla.
join there.
Ya ba.
Any other hand?
letsogo le lengwe
Okay. Number one, you can come.
wa mathomo o ka nna wa tla. Thank you.
Sylvia Sibina ke lebitso la ka ke tswa Underwater Big Women Advocacy Organization ye leng ko Lephalale. Ke lebo fiwa monyeta o. Sa mathomo setse le boletsi taba ya horeng go na le ba bangwe ba tlo bolela tse leng hore a se re diteile mo. Like nna le nna ne ke tlo bolela le ke face le taba ya o nyoa ha di transport. Ano setse le address itse hore some kind of issue a di a tshwanela hore di bolelwe mo and then it's re na le bothata le hore email yona e le re fileng yona some of us is very difficult to re ka I reacha ra khona ntšha dillo tša rena but ke a leboa mamotla ke khone o kry-a sebaka bothata ba me be ke tlo bolelang ka bona mamotla wana o ke bolela ka taba ya motlakase ha re lebeletse taba ya motlakase a re lekane mo lefaseng le go na le ba ba ranang di company ba o ranang di shop so ke kopela hore ha le tla mo tabeng ya o nyuisa le nyuisa di payment tsa motlakase a le reka motlakase because ona no a re reka motlakase the unit tse di re kry-ang they are very low so ke kopela hore le be le differentiation le khone hore differa le di rich people le di the big companies people re na re leng lower the community e leng very poor re differenting when it comes to paying the okay onya go
Well, I'm grateful that you gave us the email address because I also wanted to talk about something that is different from the gas bill. But then I also would like to raise a concern which is regarding electricity bills. Being that when we have to pay for electricity, I would request that there be a differentiation between the big companies and us, the poor people.
and then different ye ke ikopang ko reng rena ha re reka motlakase re ska reka the same unit ka same price ya o tshwana le ba ownang di company ha o be le price ye e leng reng ke ya rena ba ko fast because a re berekise motlakase ka o tshwana a la bona.
I suggest that when we buy electricity as the poor community, the unit's price should not be the same as the big companies.
Good people,
Dumelang.
I'm saying it for the last
Lebitso
time.
la ka-
We are begging you. Don't do something that when we leave here, we say you didn't say anything about what we came here for. I gave you the email address. For instance, the issue of electricity pricing is done independently by NERSA. ESCOM belongs to the Portfolio Committee on Public Enterprise. Now, if you write to those emails we gave you, they will take that correspondence, refer it to Public Enterprise Portfolio Committee, which is responsible for ESCOM.
Re kgopela
So
gore-
I urge you, because the difficulty we'll have is to live here and say the only people who spoke were two. And these are the things they raised as concerned on the gas amendment bill. The rest, it's like you are not addressing the real issue. That's why I said, to make you comfortable, I'm giving you those email address, write to them. If there is a relevant committee, it's not this one, they will refer that to that relevant committee and come back to you and acknowledge that we received your email, it has been referred to a particular committee if it is not this one of ours. Please, I'm not forcing you, but all what I'm saying is that we will come out of here saying people, they don't have an interest or they don't have anything to say about the amendments on this bill, and that's the end.
re kgopela gore batho ba bolele seo ba bileditšweng sona ba tle go bolela ka lebaka la gase ba ba bolelang ka motlhagase ba tla fiwa emaili gore ba tle ba romele dillo tša bona mo go emailing yeo e fela email yeo le file go yona gona bjale e bolela mabaping le ditaba tša gase ga bjale re kgweditše batho ba babedi ba ile go rono ba bolela morero o mogolo wo re o tletšeng wona mo wa lebaka la gase.
Dumelang batho ka moka. Lebitso la ka ke nna Lucy Duba ke tswa ke le ko Kaulesi village from Women of Change Organization. Nna my input for today about the bill as an affected person of Limpopo, this bill must mandate the closure of all fossil fuel industries, including gas. Thank you.
Molaokakanywa wo wa gase ke kgopela gore o akaretše dilo ka mokana ga tšona tšeo di bolelang ka fuele mo di-industry ka mokana ga tšona.
Dumelang, wa bua mo ke Abraham Spina. Okay. Okay. Okay, now I get because I thought you were talking about everything mining and ESCOM, any other companies. So, but anyway, naketo khopela fela only if those things they are there ga go sa tjare na ke tswa ka le marapo ka le phalale. So all we need is bana le scale le ba dileng scale because it's very difficult nowadays. Batho ba tloga mo ba ya kae go ka kontle ka kwa le banya ka dispane ka go le ka kwa well re na le spaces ba well re ka build the places like the school, the art buildings. So yeah, thanks.
My request today, it's simple, to request the members of the parliament to build opportunities like schools, theaters, because most people from the area, they go outside to look for a job outside. If those opportunities will be around, people could get jobs. Thank you.
Thobela nna ke Susinyeng Pelo Tona ke modudwana mo Lephalale ke wa SAWIMA, South African Women in Money Association. Ke nyaka go bontsha mo re ra khotsofala ka melawana ye e leng ka mo hare ha department. So kgopelo ya rena ke hore ha o bana le monitoring e tseneletše melawana ke mebotse mara ha o bana le monitoring e tseneletše kudu ka mo saeteng ya basadi le disabled people le youth mo ditabeng ya di-company he mebereko e le hona kore di-compliances ka nna tše di boimaima ebe tše di bofefo tše le goreng re kgona gore re feletše re khumana mošomo kore mo guessing e le ye ntši go bane le partnership wela le mo di-company.
Okay.
Se ke nyaka go se bontšha ke gore melawana yona wa ra kgotsofala
Okay.
ra etlaletša gore batho ba modimo a go bane le monitšhara e tseneletšeng gore batho ka moka mafelelong re le maphelo a mabotse. Ke a leboga.
I'm happy with all the bills, the acts from the parliament. From one sitting, I will just request from the parliament to have a strong monitoring team so that it will also cater the women and the disabled people so that all of us, we have same opportunities.
Okay, is there any other hands again? Are there any hands?
Go na le matsogo a mangwe?
Any other hands?
There's a follow-up hand.
Even outside there. Help us.
Ka ntle ka moka ka mo re kgopela le re thuše go na le matsogo a mangwe?
Okay, Mam, up here. Can they come in?
Re na le matsogo a mangwe? Ba ka tsena?
Chairperson and the portfolio committee. Ge ke theeleditše ke a kwa gore o ka re setšhaba se sa mo Lephalale ba tlile ba sena information ya gore ba tlo dira eng.
From my observation is that our people do not have an idea what are they here for.
And community is the affected community in terms of gas.
And this is the most affected community in terms of gas.
I think go bohlokwa gore ba understand ba kere information ye ba ye ba scrutinize molao ka kanywa wo ba lefe written inputs.
I
Ke
think
nagana hore-
it's better they do understand the bill, the purpose of the bill, and scrutinize it, so that when they come back with a good idea.
ke nagana hore e sa le allowed written inputs, so that as this community le kry-a di-inputs tša bona gore how are they affected and ba ka inputa jwang on the bill, so that ba kgone go assista the bill itself gore ge e ya mo e yang gona e be e le gore ba file di-input. Ke ba theeleditše ke dutše mo ke a kwa gore ka moka ge ba bolela they are not saying anything ya go bolela ka bill ye, and go ara gore le mo a ke tsebe gore ke a bona le a ngwala mara tše le di ngwalang a ke nagane gore di gola bill ye. Ke be ke sa ba bolelele mara ke kgopela gore ba ge ba tloga mo ba ska ipotša gore ba feditše, ba ye ba dule fase ba lebelele molaokakanywa wo and come up with written inputs to yourselves. Maybe when you live here, you shall have given them the contact and numbers and the address. Tše ba ka romelang di written inputs, because ke a bona gore se re se dirang mo really ga se gole bili ye ka selo. Ke a leboga.
I think you still allow the written inputs. I guess the community should be given an email address to send those inputs, so that there will be benefit to the bill. Because from my observation where I'm seated is that people do not understand the bill. So with those inputs, definitely they will assist in terms of all the amendments and what is required on that bill.
Dumelang. Lebitso
Hello,
la me
everyone.
ke nna Isaka Mohahola. I'm the chairperson of Sanko Lepalela Sub-Region, also the member of the African National Congress. Ke eme mo re le ANC le Alliance re supporta bill. And since bua ke my principal here ke sona se botlhokwa thata ka lebaka la gore bill ye ra bala a re tlhaloganye sentle gore go batlagala e mo yona re tla re tse re di buang mo a re ebe mo ra re re tla fua di contact tse re ka kgonang go kwala re kwala ka botlalo gore se re se tlhokang on this bill ke ka gore a re batla gore bill ye mafelelong re supporte e end up e sa address issue ya black empowerment ke yona e pila re tsinkeletse mo yona ka lebaka la gore gas e extractwa too much more in our area, but if you check the resident of this area, they remain poor.
Okay.
People come here, extract gas and go, and oh,
I'm from ANC and Alliance. We support the bill. However, we would like to welcome the contact details where we will send the comments. The other thing which is a concern is that the gas is erected here at our area.
Yeah. Yes, e berekiwa too much mo Lephalale.
The gas is mainly from here at the area of Lephalale.
Me ha o ka lebelela lebaka le la black empowerment.
If you could check the thing of black empowerment,
A e dire ka lebaka la hore batho ba re dulang mo Lephalale re ba di ba mafelelo ntse gas extractiwa mo ha rona.
it's not helping us, the black empowerment, since the area, people from Lephalale, we are poor. And the gas is erected here in Lephalale.
And hankare the table e bua ka black empowerment mara o ka lebelela mo di speakera tso ka di tlile magowa.
If I could say, the House speaks about the black empowerment. However, there are white people here.
Me ke sa re hore ke xenophobic setse ke no ka ke feta
That does not mean I'm xenophobic.
se nka se gatellang ebile ke feleletsa ke hore
What I would like to emphasize is
re thekga bili
we support the bill
jwalo ka ANC and Alliance.
as ANC and Alliance.
Re tla tla re romela di comment in written.
We will send the written comments.
Ke a leboha.
Thank you.
Greetings.
Che, Emmanuel Madidimalo Mokawa from Lephalale, Mukuruanyane village. I'm the member of the African National Congress. Chair, I support the bill. When I look at the document, it's talk about the development, particularly the BEE. We really appreciate that. Because if we can have a look, previously the monopoly capital, they were benefiting. The blacks were not benefiting, particularly on the mining. So we really appreciate that. The other thing is that we request on the amendment, please try to enforce the collaboration with the stakeholders. Particularly ESCOM must take the stakeholders very serious. And the official of ESCOM, we understand that some of their politicians, but they must remain the servant of ESCOM, not to divert becoming the politician. In order for this, they deny the access or the opportunities for the local in perspective. So let's look at that. And say, you know, Lephalale is a rural place. We're heavy chieftaincy, we're heavy municipality, and other stakeholders. Please, when you amend, try to enforce that, to check. This is not a Johannesburg. It's a rural, that's why I'm saying, it's a rural. So, as an ANC member, I support the bill. Thanks.
tafole le mopele na ka lebitso ke nna Daniel Kekana ke nna mo ward number 5.
Greetings. I am Daniel Kekana. I stay at ward number 5.
As a ANC re support amendment bill ye lo baneng e tlisitswe mo Lephalale ka lebaka la dilo tsa di gas tse.
Now, as the ANC, we support this gas amendment bill, which has been brought here at Lephalale.
But one thing you can add please let's try maybe let's support the small business and le develop this skill more especially ka rena le dilo tsa tshwana le bo Eskom bo Exaro ka helo baneng di bereka ka di mineral in the most cases.
Now, what I would like to add is that I'm pleading with you to support small businesses, more especially because we have institutions like Eskom and Exaro.
Lady skill development around the Palale, just because most of the youth around here, they are struggling to get the jobs. And if you can check around Eskom or Exaro, most of the people who work there is not the youth from around here. So please, we plead with you to please just try by all means to support those young people, and on the other hand to support the local businesses so we can see Lephalale grow like Joburg and the other cities. So we need a city in Lephalale, just like other places. Thank you.
Bona letsogo mo. Ra tswalela a ka ba gona lo mongwe e tla re nyaka matsogo a maswa go na le letsogo mo. O ka se ke wa ba le follow up le gore wa shishinya. Ke nyaka thoma ka go tšea matsogo a maswa a ke go tswalele letsogo le leswa. There's another one there. Behind. Wena Mr. letsogo mo. Okay. Go tlo ba wena mme. Napile go tlo tla wena Mogalabe. O tlo fiwa monyetla gape wa bobedi a kere. O bo emisitse letsogo a. Yes. O tla ba ka kwa morago ga mme ona. Go ra gore number 4. Mme ka morago ga moo ke a tswalela. O bo nyaka go bolela gape mme. E tla ka mola.
Thank you. My name, I'm Gabriel Taba. Ke dula ko Steve Biko Shongwane.
I stay at Steve Biko Shongwane.
Yes. Chairperson o biditse mabitso ka pela o biditse le before e bala ntwe le papa le tibo sore tsholetsa matsogo. A se tshwe batho ba bantsi ra understand. And then you ka check.
You called us too quickly. In fact, a lot of us have not even understood.
Yes. Because it's true.
It is indeed true that we came here not knowing what we are here for.
Because if you check, batho ba ba leng affected too much ka gase ke batho ba ile gore ba close to mmereko.
Because if you can look, you realize that a lot of people who are affected by the gas are those who are close to the workplaces.
Yes. Because mo re dulang gona o khumana like nna mo ke dulang gona is 37 kilos go ya toropong.
For instance, myself, where I stay, it is 37 kilometers away from work.
Yeah. So if you are ba affected gana ko Exaro or ko Matimba or ko Medupi ke mo eleng gore gas e gona. And then ntwe ngore le
And
concern
if
ka
I
yona.
am to be affected, I'll be affected right there at Exaro, Matimba, or Midupi, because that is where I always am.
But as the workers, ntwe eleng gore gone gore na if you are affected ka gas gana ko mmerekong o patalana jwang ka baka la gore ke tsene ke bolwetse because of ke le mo mmerekong.
Now,
You must
as
consider that.
workers, the question is that if I am to be affected by gas while I am at my workplace, the question is that how am I to be compensated because I got ill while I was at work?
Because if you thoma o lwala company re no a o latele safety then safety ya gona le yona ha e gona ha e perfect safety le gore wa e berekisha gona o ba affected ntse gore o apere safety ya bona.
Because once you fall ill, the company will say you are not complying with their safety regulations, whereas even they themselves are not strictly complying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Handel Chokwe, and I'm from Lepala Electoral Park. I'm from the organization Waterberg Women Advocacy Organization. I think our people here are totally crying about for their own benefit, but not for the benefit of the South Africans at large. We are all affected by gases at Lepalale. We are all affected, but mostly those who are affected, it is because of lack of electricity, which forces them to end up using gases to cook, end up using fossil fuels to cook like paraffins and then other gases. And also the mines also causes the pollution. So the people here are totally crying because they do not benefit, because some of them are not working at those mines, and which is why they're totally here. But I think the respected here must fully explain, so that the people in here can understand what they are talking about. Firstly, looking at the damage caused by the mines and the gases that are released. So, us as the people who are living as the closest people at those mines, we are affected. So we are looking for things that can benefit us, especially on our health, like the people must get more awareness from the clinics and also at schools. They must get more awareness so that they can be aware of the damage caused by those mines over there. But we cannot cry too much about the mines while we also benefit from the mines. Because totally the coal mines, we are totally benefiting from them. On the other side, employment and then electricity. Scientifically, there were people who, these people made researches about how we can produce electricity without causing too much pollution. But how does that, is that electricity produced that electricity produced, is it able to be provided to all South Africans? Or is it gonna take us back to the load shedding? Because totally the coal mines are important, no matter how they might cause the damage, but they are also important. Looking at the side that they might, how much damage do they cause? How much damage do they cause? And how much do we benefit from those? And then we must use, we must have the knowledge we must have the knowledge about the coals, that how much damage does it cause to these people on the closest communities, but how much do we benefit, rather than to use things like water to produce electricity while not benefiting all the South Africans. Because we cannot cry for ourselves while the South Africans are not benefiting at all. Because it seems like it's not all of us who are benefiting. Because last year, I was writing my matric where there was load shedding, and I ended up failing to read because there was no electricity, which has affected me a lot. So things like coal mines, they seem to be, they are important because they have got too much power to produce the electricity. So they might cause the damage, but they benefit us a lot. So somewhere, somehow, you just have to look at the side that we benefit a lot from those. And if we stop them, it is going to cause a lot of damage, especially on the economy, because people will be unemployed. Thank you.
Tla mama ba e leng gore ba nyaka go tla ba ka tla ka morago ga se. Ke bone gore o tswa o le kontle, ke ka go direla favor, o ka nna wa tsena mo.
On what I talked about. My name is still Francina Ngosi. I want to point the issue of when you give out some dates for the hearings, can you give time for communities to be able to go through the bill, and also to have somebody who will do clarity, because we are not the same with knowledge of bills. And the other part, what I want to raise also, is promoting the free, prior and informed consent, especially in the rural areas. Most of people, they don't have access on the internet. And for them to come and give inputs here, they need to get more information of what is affecting them because they can't be able to do online. And the other part that I want to raise also is that we have this hydro. And when you do hydro, there will be gas that is coming out. Can you please protect those animals? Because that gas is going to affect those animals around the area. At least the precaution for health-wise, also to human beings, it must be looked at so that if that gas is out, then there is other measures to protect animals and human beings on health. And on the part of fracking also, can it be looked at not to be done on oceans, on mountains, so that we may preserve those areas for the future generation? I end there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I must first thank you for giving us direction, because earlier on it appeared that we didn't give the inputs you were expecting. Now I want to be very, very accurate by giving an input that I think will help the bill go well. Now, I indicated this question of black economic empowerment. Our area and other areas, more especially the places which were not developed before the end of apartheid, they are, most of them are rich towns with very poor people. And as a result, we were thinking that bills such as this will in a way change the situation. The fact that our areas don't have, they sometimes call them big shots, those people with big monies, we end up saying there should be black economic empowerment, but you would find that in our area there are no people who are strong enough to take such ventures, and therefore propose that we should have, if there is lack of capacity in the local areas, wherever they are, they be given a chance to have joint ventures with capable companies, so that in the end, when those big companies leave the area, they leave the area having given capacity to the local investors. Otherwise, when we talk of black economic empowerment, it will just be a very, I don't know, a red dream which we'll never achieve. Because this thing of having the local people not capacitated enough, it makes sure that you perpetuate the situation of inequality. Therefore, if we can have such a situation that when you have ventures, joint ventures, they make sure that when they leave the area having capacitated the local investors. That is what I wanted to say earlier on. And the last thing, we are having this thing which is happening even today. You would find that there is I don't know whether it's a quota or what to call it, where it is said priority should be given to the local people. But in the end, you will have local people who are not actually local people, who will fraudulently get documents that would make them local people, and in the end, local people complain that the local people are not given a chance to employment. And therefore, the proposal that I have is that the Department of Labor and Employment should function here. Ensure that those people who are actually local people should be the actual local people and not the forged local people. I must end it just there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ke sa buile gape Thobela.
I'm back
Ne
again.
ke nna botsebotse ke mo ke boe ke emetse basadi.
I am
Ye ke nyaka o e
actually
gatelela
representing
kudu-kudu
women.
kore re dumelana le bili ka šetše ke e bontšhitše.
Now,
Mara
I-
ha o bona le gabotsebotse.
I wanted to emphasize that we actually agree with the bill.
Ne ke nyaka o e bontšha gore as basadi re kgopela gore banna o bane le tlhokomelo e tseneletseng because basadi ra sokola.
Now, what I wanted to emphasize was that there should be a thorough lookout, because as women, we are suffering.
Re kgopela gore ye motho a nyaka license e reng pele le ka mo fana ka license le polele le ena a ye kwa a nyaka o dia license mo teng municipality ya teng a dire gore o dia partnership le basadi.
Now, I wanted to state that if someone wants to make a license, that person should go to where he wants to apply for a license, be it the municipality, and that person should do a partnership with women.
Ene e bontšha bedi le gore triple BEE e bereke re se ka ra no e bolela fela mara re sa implement.
And also that this triple BEE should work. It should not be something that we talk about, whereas it is not working.
And when coming to meetings mo di stakeholders sing basadi le needy people le youth ba be gona ka mo hare ba site ka that stakeholders meetings.
Now, when it comes to shareholding, women and the youth should be in there. They should also be
Ka baka la gore e ba le ka mo hare a meeting ya di stakeholders ba tlo kgona go thuša ka mathata di challenges tse le reng re kopana le tsone. As I'm speaking now, hiro ya ka ko Exaro before ba o hira o le mosadi o tshwantse o die di push ups 35 ya di push ups o tshwantse o dire gore exercise yo yotlhe o le mosadi, and mind you mosadi basadi re batho ba di operation all those things.
Now, when women are included in stakeholders meetings, they will be able to assist wherever there are challenges. And also, as I am speaking, when one has to be employed at Exaro as a woman, you are expected to do push-ups, about 35 push-ups before you could get employment. And we should also take into consideration that women are people who are living with medical operations on their bodies.
So as ANC Maslikere, we support the bill, and then i-monitoring.
Now-
Ebe le šale mora, ke a leboha.
As the ANC Women's League, I say we support the bill, so you should monitor it and take it forward. I thank you.
Ke a leboha ho fiwa sebaka se, ke sa le Sylvia hape.
Thanks to be given this opportunity. It's Sylvia again.
Ke lebohela mme wa boletseng ka taba ya basadi.
I would like
And
to
then-
thank the woman who just
Ha ke
emphasized the
lebeletse-
woman issue.
Gore ha ke lebeletse ke point e ntletseng ke sa dutse mo mara my point is tla ka morago. Ha ke lebeletse mo pele a lena, the gender there is not well balanced. Ha ke lebeletse
If
ke
I
bomme
could
ba
look
babedi
there
fela,
on
the
the
rest ke
stage-
lena bontate. So it means hore rena basadi we are not that much recognized.
So if I could look there on the stage, the gender is not well balanced, so which means as women, we are not recognized.
Okay, thanks. Point ya ka gore le tlile ka gas amendment bill. And then khasi yana e le bolelang ka yona ke khasi e re bolayang right through every day ko marapong. Right through re phela re lla ka gore khasi ya re bolaya so and so and so.
You are
Mara-
here for the amendment bill of gas.
Mara
So however,
today-
we always cry that the gas is killing us out there.
Okay, today I ke tlo bolela gore khasi re bolaya kae le kae le kae. Ke bolela ka gore mamotla why re bolela re reisa taba ya motlakase le hana. Khasi eo le ifetlang kanti e dia eng? A e di motlakase na. Why le hana re bolela taba ya issue ya motlakase. Mo la khasi e le fetla motlakase ko
The issue here I'm talking about is about the gas that produce electricity. So why we're not talking about the electricity and you are here to talk about the gas?
Yes, ke nyaka gore le ska hatella taba ya gore rena re bolela ka motlakase because khasi yona yo we le bolelang ka yona. A se khasi fela e fetla motlakase. Ya no issue ya motlakase we must raise it. We know what's killing us. So allow us to raise it. A leboha.
Can we allow you to come back and speak about electricity? Because I feel that you feel you were not given an opportunity to speak about what you wanted to speak. Can you perhaps come back and speak about it?
Re ka rata gore o boe se se o tlo bolela ka motlhagase. Re lemoga gore a wa fiwa sebaka se se lekanetse gore o bolele ka ga motlhagase.
Ka leboha. Issue e ke boletseng ka yona ka first round ke boletse ka motlakase gore motlakase gona no wa re tlorela di-unit tse re di rekang motlakase le tse ke rekile motlakase ka 20 rand di-unit tse ke di kry-ang ke kry-a bokae ke 12 or ke 14.
The issue here about the electricity is that it's expensive. Even if you buy electricity of 20 rand, you only get 12 units.
Okay, ka lebeletse ka pointa taba ya gore a re berekise motlakase ka o tshwana. Ho na le bagomi, ho na le ba dira contractor, ho na le ba di business. Ke
We're
kopetse
not
gore
using electricity the same way. There are people from the contractions, there are people who are rich.
ke kopetse gore ho be le different when ha o tla mo o rekeng motlakase ba ba le tsebang gore they use motlakase more than us really a community mo fase di charges di ska tshwana ba ba le tsebang gore ba bo berekisa too much ba ska chargewa the way rena re chargewang ka hona ha be le different ba le gore ke rena mo community mo fase rate ya teng le yona ha ibe ko fase ke re ko fase
There
ya
should
ba
be
we
a
ba ba
difference
berekisang ha ibe ko
of
hodimo ka
rates
mokgwa
and
ona.
charges
Ke yona ntho e ke e
for the
kopileng.
community and for
Okay.
people who can afford the electricity. So for the charges for the community should be lower than the charges of people who can afford.
Mandibonge. Elithuba silifumeleyo namhlanje. Lokuba sivakatshelwe ngabantu ababuya eParliament esilobo sibabona eziTVini.
I'm grateful for being given an opportunity to speak here today. And
Loko sinibona xa ni-engage phaya eParliament eTVini.
we always see you engaging in Parliament on TV.
Ngokokuqala ndifumana i-engagement elolu hlobo.
It is for the first time that I find this kind of an engagement.
NdinguXola Gubhuza ndihlala pha eLiphalale.
My name is Xola
Gubhuza.
Gubuza. I stay at Lephalale.
I-community seyikhulumile ndizivile zonke izinto and nami ziyandihlupha emphefumulweni.
The community has already spoken. I heard everything, and that is also affecting me.
What le nto ethethwa ngusisi yokubana i-community i-units azifani zombane inyani le.
Now, what has been spoken by the previous speaker, that the electricity units that are bought by the community are actually not equal. That is indeed true.
Phaya eLiphalale sisebenzisa indawo ecaca uba ifumene i-contract under municipality iLiphalale bobathi sisiphaza.
At Lephalale, we stay at a place.
It's like it's sourcing. It's the one that abantu abathenga kuyo econtrola umbane kamasipala bathi sisiphaza.
Okay, there is a place where community members buy electricity from. It is called Spaza.
And it's only one place, but it's Sosol Garage.
And there is also another place that is called Sasol Garage.
Umasipala unikeze uSosol Garage only where the Liphalale people there in town, they can only buy electricity at Sasol.
Now the municipality has given that responsibility to Sasol Garage so that the people there at Lephalale can buy electricity.
Which is loo nto ke ngoku isinikeza ingxaki uba kukhona i-connection ethi libisenzeka.
Now that is actually problematic to us because we are of the view that there is a certain maybe an agreement that is existing.
Just recently leni veki bayi-terminatile i-contract ngoko abantu ababhatali imbane. Ngoku kule veki esiphuma kuyo umbane bayi-terminatile i-contract nala company isiphaza asibhatali imbane pha eLiphalale.
Just this past week, the contract that was awarded to Spaza was terminated because we are now not paying electricity in that area.
Sihleli ke ngoku sizawufumana nge-last minute sesixalela uba si-owe ama-20,000.
Now we are just seated. We will only hear thereafter being told that we are now owing around 20,000 rand.
Yenye yezinto ke leyo ebuhlungu.
Now that is one of the painful things regarding electricity.
Nasemarapong indawo ezininzi azinambane.
Even at Marapong, a lot of areas around there do not have electricity.
Siyazi kakhulu ukuthi igesi nobungozi nokuba singa-justifya sithini.
We know that electricity is dangerous, no matter how much we would like to justify that.
Ukhona utata uthethe ngokulimala emsebenzini apha ndifuna ukuthi ndicacisele okanye le ndlu iParliament isichazele ubana ukulimala bajonge i-physical injury only na.
Now there's a previous speaker who spoke about getting injured while at work. So I would like the Parliament to explain to us that when they talk about someone being injured at work, do they only consider physical injury?
Kuba kukhona into yokuthi umuntu angaphatha kakubi emsebenzini ngumphathi wakhe end up eshiya umsebenzi.
Because there's also a situation whereby a person can be badly treated by their employer, and that would eventually lead to that person maybe resigning.
And ke ngoku loo nto leyo ithetha ukubana xa ungakhange ukwazi ukuwushiya umsebenzi uzohlala phantsi kwaloo situation ibed injalo.
Now that means that if you are unable to can resign, then you would remain in that job under that condition.
Then ke ngoku kufuneke ke ukuthi uxhomekeke kwi-drugs ukuthi uphile nge-drugs. Abanye abantu ukwehlisa i-stress basebenzisa ibhiya, abanye abantu they go for specialists ukuthi bahambe badibane ne-psychiatrist bafumane uncedo then baprescribele i-medication. Abanye ke ngoba end up ke sokusithiwa bakwi-chronic medication. Ingaba loo nto leyo ngaba niyayiconsiderisha as ukuthi inobungozi na umuntu abofumene emsebenzini xa inokubuproof.
Now, that would then make one to rely on drugs, or others would then use liquor so as to relieve their stress. And others would then have to go to doctors, others would go to psychiatrists and so on, just so that they can maybe minimize the harm that they had sustained.
I don't remember you saying your name for record purposes. Can you assist us with the name?
Andikhumbulu
The last
uShukba
speaker.
igama lakho ngubani. He had stated that his name is Tola Kubuza.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't have powers to reopen the submissions that we are making here because I'm an acting chair in the absence of the chairperson.
Jwale akena
I don't want to take powers I don't have and extend.
akena matla a gore nka bula gape di submission ka
Yes.
ge e le gore modulasetulo ga a gona nna ke no be ke mo swaretše.
I'm pleading for you to forgive me that I am not going to open.
Jwale ge ke kgopela gore le ntshwareleng ka gore ga ke tlo bula gape gore le tliše di submission tša lena.
I will now allow the mayor to speak to us before we close the meeting.
Jwale ke tlo kgopela Ratropo gore a bolele le rena pele ga ge nka tswalela kopano.
Thanks very much, the acting chairperson. Let me take this opportunity to really appreciate the moment that you presented to our people, and also great the active leadership led by the honorable chairperson to come and visit this rural area of us in some talking to them about something that affects them on a very serious note. And also take this opportunity to greet the community members who saw it fit that they should come in here and participate in the process. However, as the leader, I also noted that our people could not or didn't have the proper information with regard to what is going to transpire today. But however, we welcome their participation. The issues that have been raised with regard to our functions as the municipality, that will be able to talk to them. Like, as I've given a typical example, the issue that the last speaker has just raised with regard to the spaza. Immediately when we came to office, those are some of the things that we are trying to attend. And I can assure you that there's a process in place that will deal with the the spaza issue. And the contract has been terminated from our office, and we'll be availing number of outlet services that can be used for people to be able to buy electricity in the very few coming days. We have issued a notice, even on Facebook page of the local municipality. You can be able to access that communique. Now, listening to most of the speakers that presented, I could hear that they agreeing and supporting to the bill. But more often, Chairperson, that you get as an argument to our community members is the issue of beneficiation. Hence, from time and time, they tried to raise frustration around the triple BEE, or how does it empowers them to make sure that they've got full participation in beneficiation when these mines continue to mines in their areas. That's one element that I've tried to capture from our people. It's very clear, if I give a typical example, that when you speak about historical disadvantaged people, that should have beneficiation over this, the mines. Any black person that was historically disadvantaged in any province of our Nile province, the bill talks to them. But the argument that you hear is the issue of locality. How does those that resides within the municipality, how does the bill assist them or empower them in terms of these opportunities? So now, I think it's something that the bill should be able to assist, to try to make a point that those that are at the receiving end or the labor receiving communities or communities that are situated in the mines, when a licensing typical example is being issued, to say in terms of benefits, whether in terms of ownership, whether in terms of business that happens in the mines, makes those people to be able to benefit. If I give a typical example again, the mining charter will tell you that 70% of consumables in a mine should be able to be procured locally. And in the view of many, when you say local, you are saying South Africa is local. Now, if South Africa is local, how do you make that those that are local, in the sense of the local municipality, local sphere of government, are being able to benefit out of such developments? I think that's what I could hear from some of the members or people that were sitting here trying to advance their reasoning, even if they could not be able to advance clearly as they wanted to. It is the view of the municipality as been given by the 1998 white paper of local government that tried to strengthen the local municipality in terms of local economic development. Now, it is our view that when we want to sustain towns or our towns, for us to be able to sustain our towns, any development that comes to our town should be able to meaningfully be able to support our people, whether in terms of employment, whether in terms of business empowerment. Such development should be able to do that. In that sense, it's going to help us that when the mine closes, we're not being left with ghost towns. So I think in brief, that's what I've heard that our people are trying to raise with the committee to say, please let us be considerate and make it a point that our people, or us as the people of this community, have a serious beneficiation around these mining activities that happens in our area. And indeed, where we are sitting as a municipality, we will engage with this mining house that comes to us and try to advocate on your behalf so that you ultimately benefit in this activity. And also to say we appreciate the opportunity. Let our people be given the email addresses and the contact details that can be used for people to be able to make submissions, because it's one of the things that I've picked to say, necessarily because we could not be able to grasp what we were supposed to do, let be afforded an opportunity to write down correspondence to committees and other committees, because you could hear that it's not just only about the gas, it is about the mining activities that happens in here. Maybe it is also of importance through our public participation unit to try to engage with other portfolio committees to come in down here so that our people can be able to raise their frustrations around issues that affects them, so that ultimately whatever views that they have can be able to reach the relevant portfolio committees. So in a nutshell, we are saying, indeed, we need to have a democracy that will allow people will be able to participate. Hence, we are here. Keep up the good work that you are doing. Go throughout the length and breadth of our country, even in rural communities where people are residing, so that you can be able to reach them, so that they can be able to raise their frustration. In the few ways that I've just indicated, Honorable Chair, thanks very much to you and your committee members. We really appreciate involving our people in these discussions. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much to everyone. But also thank you. Please, yes, we did go and see the chief. But please again convey our word of thanks to the chief for the intervention, in particular the intervention that was made for us to be here today.
Re leboge bohle, re boe gape re pele gore re lebogelwe ko kgošing, re leboge ka magato ao e leng gore a ile a tšewa gore re kgone go ba mo.
Thank you to you, Mayor and Honorable Apiri and all your team. We know that you could have been somewhere else, but you respected the fact that there was more work to be done here.
Re leboge gape le yena mohlompegi a Phiri ka ge re tseba gore o be a swantše a le felo go na le mebereko e mengwe yeo e leng gore o be a swanetše a ile go e dira, eupša o ile a re hlompha gomme a kgetha go ba mo le rena. Mo re a tseba gore le kgono le ke letšatši la morena gomme le na le mabaka a mantši ao e leng gore le be le swantše le ile go ona, ba bangwe ba swantše ba ile dikerekeng mahung jwalo le jwalo eupša le kgethile go tla mo la tlo ba le rena la kgetha gore le kgone go ka tšweletša dikakanyo tša lena. Jwale ge ke kwele seo mohlomphegi a phiri a soletšego mabapi le di-submission tšeo di ngwadilwego go šetše go ile gwa dirwa kgopelo ya gore di-submission tšeo di ngwadilwego di tliše ka kgwedi ya November ka moka ga yona.
In December, we invited those who had made written submissions to do oral submissions on their written submissions.
Gomme ge mo kgweding ya December re ile ra mema bao e leng gore ba dirile di-submission tšeo di ngwadilwego gore ba re fe di-submission tšeo ka molomo.
So written submissions are closed.
Jwale nako ya di-submission tšeo di ngwadilwego e tswaletšwe.
But I'm sure you heard me when we started. I said, if somebody has exhausted the time allocated to him and could go for the second round, that person can take that written submission and give it to the staff here.
Eupša ke kgolwa gore o nkwele ge ke bolela ge re thomiša kopano ye ke ile ka re bao e leng gore ga ba sebaka sa gore ba tliše di-submission sa bona mo lekgeng la bobedi ba ka di tliša mo go bahlankedi ba ba lego gona mo tafoleng.
But let me advise, there's a difference now between a written submission and a correspondence.
Jwale e re ke eletše gore ga botsebotse go na le phapano gare ga submission eo e ngwadilwego mmogo le correspondence go ba yona poledišano.
Now let's assume someone now says, now I understand what is the meaning of this.
Jwale a re tšee gore mohlomongwe o mongwe o re jwalo ga botsebotse ke a kwešiša gore se se ra goreng.
You are allowed to write and correspond on the two emails I gave.
O dumeletšwe gore o ka ngwala poledišano eo wa e romela mo di-emailing tše pedi tšeo ke lefilego tšona.
And you can say, at that time, these are the things I could have raised. We will take that correspondence, put it on the agenda, and circulate it to all members of the committee.
Gomme ge o ka ngwala mo poledišanong eo wa re dintlha tše ke di tšweletšago ke tšeo e leng gore ga botsebotse nka be ke ile ka di tšweletša mathomong. Gomme re tlo tšea poledišano eo ya gago ba lona lengwale o tla beng o le ngwadile ra le tsenya mo agendeng ya kgona go fihla mo malokong.
Then the members can use that in the deliberations of the committee on the proposed, when it debates, it deliberates on the proposed amendment by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy.
Jwale maloko a ka kgona go ka boledišana ka ditšhišinyo tšeo o tla bego o di dirile ge ba tla be ba boledišana ka diphetogo tšhišinyo tšeo e leng gore di dirilwe mo molaokakanyong.
Lastly, let me say this. You know, I listened to the MEC of Education in Gauteng.
E reng ke boleleng se ke ile ka theletša polelo ka mo lekgotla phetiši
Education.
wa tša thuto kua Gauteng.
He said, if you take your child to school and you don't teach the child discipline,
O ile a re ge o tšea ngwana gago o miša sekolong eupša o sa mo rute boitshwaro,
you then can't expect that the child will learn discipline at school.
o ka se ke wa lebelela gore ngwana o wa gago o tla ithuta boitshwaro kua sekolong.
So at times I always say this thing, I'm proud and happy that my parents taught me discipline.
Jwale ge ke bolele gore gabotse ke tloga ke thabile gore batswadi ba ka ba nthutile boitshwaro.
And I must respect the other person if I expect a respect from that person.
Gomme ge ke swantše ke hlomphe motho o mongwe ge e le gore ke lebeletše gore motho o le yena a ntlhomphe.
So I'm not going to respond on this platform on something that I can see. This, if you were to respond to it, it will make you similar to the person who makes that comment.
Jwale ge, ga ke tlo araba mo lefelong le, polelo yeo e leng gore ke a bona gore ga botsebotse ga e na tlhompho gomme ge ke e araba e tlo dira gore ke tshwane le ena motho o.
But from where I sit, we have a duty to explain the process.
Eupša ge, mo ke leng ke a bona gore re na le maikarabelo a gore re hlalose tsela tshepetšo.
Otherwise, we'll be misleading people to make as if, because they must feel comfortable, to make as if what we are explaining is gonna come comfortable. We know sometimes rules of parliament, they even frustrate us as members of parliament.
Ka gore ka ntle le moo re tla be re lahletša batho, re tla be re dia gore ba tekwe ba thabile mola e le gore seo re tla be gore se dira e tla be e se sa nnete, ka gore re a tseba le rena gore ka nako tše dingwe melao ya palamente e ya re gatella le rena ka nako tše dingwe.
But thank you very much for your inputs. They were valid, and those that, as I said, will be referred to the relevant. I still repeat, you can write on any matter. If it is not related to this committee, it will be taken to the relevant committee that deals with that.
Ke bo ke le leboge ka di tshwao tša lena, di be di tloga di kwagala, gomme le ntše le dumelletše gore le ka ngwala ge e le gore go na le ntlha tše dingwe tšeo e leng gore ga di sepelane le tše le ka di romela ko di-emailing tšeo e leng gore le di filwe, gomme ntlha tšeo tša lena di tla romelwa dihlongweng tša maleba.
Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.
Ra leboga, kopano e phatlaladitšwe ka mokgwa o.